that put the fledgling company on the map was the Holt steam tractor. The Holt steamer was first introduced in 1890 by the genius and founder of the unstoppable Caterpillar company, Benjamin Holt. His initial desire was to create a more efficient alternative to the classic, horse-drawn equipment that was traditional and widely adopted by farmers and builders everywhere. Holt's desire to stand out from the crowd and think radically led him and his brother to create steam-powered machines.
Here's your Johnson bar. We're in forward, back is reverse.
The Holt steamer marked an incredible time in the industry as steam power transformed the world forever. Every industry imaginable was affected by this new method of energy and power, but especially the heavy machinery sector, as now steam-powered heavy machinery became an option that changed the way men viewed large-scale challenges. This machine was built to endure even the roughest of conditions, so that it could be depended upon to rise to any challenge that a farmer or construction crew needed. This steam tractor performed excellently and cut a new path for the next great innovation in the field: gasoline and diesel-powered tractors, which would set the stage for the bulldozers and excavators of tomorrow. The tractor could burn anything from coal, wood, or oil for fuel, and was able to carry astonishing amounts of water without fail. This particular version of the steam-powered tractor was then built 130 more times in the span of 14 years. Its greatest strength was its flexibility and adaptability, as it could be used for all kinds of things like agriculture, road building, logging, and even military operations. It was reported to be able to reach up to 20 miles per hour on even roads and had two twin-cylinder engines that each powered one back wheel. Eventually, they would perfect this tractor with new energy methods available, but no one will ever forget the contributions of Benjamin Holt's first steamer. Few creations have turned industries upside down the way that the Holt steamer did over 130 years ago, as it marked a major shift in the way people viewed animal-powered machinery versus mechanized equipment. Every innovation and great idea in machinery has happened in large part thanks to this one very ancient piece of heavy machinery. Even Benjamin Holt himself would be behind the machine that would replace his steamer, but in the meantime, this creation served the world well. These days, it is even remembered as one of the machines that built America. Number 2. The Sentinel S4 Steam Wagon, 1993. The next innovations following the advent of the Holt steam tractor would follow in a similar vein, like the Sentinel S4 Steam Wagon, which was a huge leap in technology, and it would become known as a powerful force in the early 20th century. This steam wagon was built by the Sentinel Wagon Works in England, and it would soon become the #1 pick for industries that needed something strong and dependable. The Sentinel S4 was a wagon able to carry many heavy loads efficiently and decently quickly across cities and countryside at a speed and weight that horses could not match. While loading it up with hundreds of kilograms of coal was no easy task, it was much safer than the unreliability of horses on long distances. An experienced driver would know how to check this wagon's many oil and water tanks and would keep all necessary parts greased and in good order, something that was expected in the early days of mechanized heavy machinery. This steam-powered wagon was stocked with the most powerful engine of its time. With a reinforced frame and a high-grade boiler, it could travel any terrain or road with ease, transporting raw materials and goods very reliably. It should come as no surprise that the Sentinel was the most valuable piece of equipment the industrial market had. However, this heavy machine would most often be found in cities, since very long distances would still be handled by train. These days, this model of the Sentinel is remembered as the best-selling steam lorry of all time, with almost a total of 4,000 being built in total. The final stock of this famous steam wagon was sent to Argentina in the 1950s. This, during a time when technology was accelerating at an astonishing rate. It was just that good of a tool and investment. As shocking as it may sound, there are still Sentinel S4 steam wagons in operation out there in the world, as they were made to stand the test of time and hard work. Able to maintain a high speed, it is also an impressive showcase of acceleration power almost a century after it was first designed. Of course, using such an antique in these modern times comes with its many quirks and peculiarities, such as needing to clean out the ash from its clinker, as any steam-powered machine would need to be cleaned out regularly. However, this extra step in maintenance is worth it for the sheer beauty, charm, and style of the Sentinel S4 steam wagon that many of the modern heavy machines lack. Number 3. The D8 Caterpillar Crawler and Tractor, 1935. The D8 Caterpillar Crawler and Tractor was being developed for years before it finally made it to the public eye, going as far back as the 1920s. However, it would not be until the merging of Holt and Best that would see the founding of the Caterpillar Company that it would get the attention it deserved to enter the world stage and become a legend in the world of antique heavy machinery. The D8 Caterpillar still has some models out there that has survived all this time and still keeps its reputation as one of the best heavy machinery to ever be conceived. If well maintained, these machines will still function and work the land almost a century after they were built. However, the truth is, it is rare to come across one, as only 34 were ever built. And it is a testament to the genius designers and engineers of the time that they are so beloved. This machine was first produced for purchase by Caterpillar in the year 1935. The horsepower of this model had a wide range, and customers were able to program it for their specific needs, allowing the power to range from 80 to 300 horsepower. This crawler excelled when it came to quality features and parts, and this model had tracks that could provide excellent traction, never getting stuck or unbalanced in even the most difficult terrain. This Caterpillar crawler was an operator favorite, as they pioneered the move to make cabins luxurious and comfortable instead of simply serviceable and practical. Another notable feature that was enjoyed by operators was its reliability, but also its many blade options. The popularity of this machine could also be attributed to its incredible balance of size and power. Every model was equipped with an easy control panel for better access to its many attachments and features that were thoughtfully added to its design. Plus, this comfortable cab made working in the fields or work sites all day long more comfortable for farmers and operators. This model was particularly popular, so Caterpillar made sure to reference it when designing and creating the many variants that came along afterwards. Number 4. The IMCO Rocker Shovel, 1938. The IMCO Rocker Shovel was the height of innovation in its time. Since before this arrived on the scene, the most reliable form of moving heavy loads of dirt, rock, ore, and more from construction and mining areas was good old-fashioned wheelbarrows and classic handheld shovels. This was especially true for companies that did not want to shell out a lot of money for the newest and still dubious heavy machinery out there. However, even if they did have the funds for that kind of machinery, it would have been relatively useless in the mining industry, as they required equipment that was very compact and could easily fit in the narrow mining shafts. However, it is the mines that the 1938 IMCO Rocker Shovel changed the game forever. No longer did miners have to do back-breaking intensive labor of mindless digging day in and day out just to set up their operation. The process was streamlined thanks to the rocking mechanism that let the miners scoop up dirt and material and then rock the shovel back and dump all of it down a hole. This mechanism was powered by the miners themselves, so there was no worries about the rocker losing power or anything like that. Instead, the amount of earth moved would be down to human effort and efficiency. The rocker shovel's simple design included an extremely powerful bucket on the rocker's arm that allowed it to swing back and forth, just like the movement of a classic handheld shovel, but of course much more efficient as it could pick up 10 times more than a classic shovel. This meant that miners were able to quickly load and then unload materials, letting them operate at a high volume and high speed all day long if necessary. The small and compact build of the rocker shovel made it easy to maneuver in dark, narrow spaces, allowing for easy transport. This innovative antique heavy machine became essential in mining operations all over the world. The IMCO Rocker Shovel improved labor demands and improved the safety of workers everywhere, leaving a legacy it can be very proud of. Of course, it was also beloved for its many innovative features as well as its reliability, power, and influence. The mark it has left on the world cannot be underestimated, as it surely inspired the modern mining machinery that came after it. Number 5. International TD24, 1947. The largest crawler tractor in the world was once called the International TD24, made in the year 1947. This powerful and breathtaking machine was quite ahead of its time and spoke of the hopes and ambitions of the era, establishing a new high standard that all others would be measured by. Designed and constructed by the impressive International Harvester Company, this titanic crawler was able to bring in the required strength and durability to projects working on a grand scale. The company had success with large track tractors with their previous work in the International TD18, which had a great performance and design, but the International Harvester engineers wanted to upgrade that model with a brand new engine and transmission. These ideas would have them landing on a design that was one of a kind during its time. The International TD24 was magnificent, with its diesel engine of 109 horsepower and an advanced suspension. This incredible achievement in engineering was built to be able to glide through anything in its path, whether it be mud, sand, or rocky paths effortlessly, making it a new benchmark in maneuverability and earth-moving. The solid and sturdy design gave this crawler tractor a big head start over others of its kind, as it was able to charge into the most difficult terrains without losing its strength or slowing down in a significant manner. Many others of the time tried to compete, but would find themselves lacking the sharp edge of the International TD24. The fuel efficiency was nothing to scoff at, and its ability to shift into the best tool for different projects made it indispensable. This crawler was useful for the biggest and greatest projects like dam construction and military operations that required something reliable and fierce. Material constraints that had been in place during war times were removed, and the people at International Harvester saw that as a sign to go all out with the TD24, and they did. It completely took the Allis-Chalmers HD19 out of the running for the spot of largest track-type tractor. Of course, Allis-Chalmers would have their own response for the International, but that's a story for another time. This heavy machine was a symbol of the boom in industry experienced after the Second World War, when people were filled with hope of a better tomorrow and a drive to make it happen. These days, the International TD24 is best remembered for its power, strength, reliability, and adaptability that set the tone for the machines that came after it. It is a living and everlasting reminder of the strength of the human spirit and mankind's never-shrinking ambition to outdo past generations. Number 6. Ruston Bucyrus 10RB Steam Shovel, 1940s. The Ruston Bucyrus 10, or also known as the RB Steam Shovel, was first introduced to the public's great approval in the 1940s. This old steam-powered heavy machine was the latest and greatest when it first arrived on the scene, with an attractive but very simplistic style, its crane being its most memorable feature. The rest of the design was not quite sophisticated, as it resembled a boxy outhouse more than anything, with only its handle making it stand out in any way. However, many would call it one of the first true heavy machinery ever made and sold. The few models that remain have been looked after with a lot of love and are still functional. Most of them have had some minor alterations, like a splash of extra color to freshen it up, or an extra attachment the owner needed to accomplish their goal. But without all the personalized additions and attachments, the Ruston Bucyrus 10RB Steam Shovel was designed to weigh around 50,000 pounds, with the majority of it made out of steel. The RB10 measures at around 25 feet long and stands at 12 feet tall. It is powered by a steam engine which would pump around 100 horsepower at its height of functionality. This machine was made to dig. Its bucket could hold around a cubic yard of dirt. Not bad for a machine made in the 40s. This machine could be found at many construction sites over the years, especially those used to dig up canals and help build railroads. It was also popular in mining operations because of its medium-sized build. allowing it to thrive in areas that bigger machines would never fit. The steam power made it essential in digging operations of any sort, and its moderately sized buckets still put it ahead of doing everything by hand in those narrow mining shafts. While few people would be impressed by its power today, it was certainly a favorite back in the day. The design was very simple, but in return it was also very easy to use. The high level of reliability, ease of use, and surprising durability has it down as one of the best of all time. Number 7. The Garrett Portable Steam Engine, 1947. By this point in history, there were many new machines out on the market, their way paved by great thinkers and engineers. However, Richard Garrett and Sons had something groundbreaking waiting to steal the spotlight with the 1947 Garrett Portable Steam Engine. This machine was what brought the power of steam to the agricultural fields everywhere. This portable steam engine changed the way farmers and rural industries were able to harness a powerful tool that would help them accomplish all the tedious, dangerous, and exhausting work of plowing and threshing fields in harsh summer heat. This transformed the way people worked and how they felt about their entire career paths and lives. More work was being accomplished, allowing for ambitious new projects and great quantities of product to flow into the market, reaching more people than ever before. No longer were people being held back by the strength of a common man or farm animal. The design of the 1947 Garrett Portable Steam Engine allowed for wheels to be attached to the engine and for it to be attached to horses and moved across all kinds of terrain and roads. This is in large part possible thanks to the efficient and compact design of the engine and the care and attention that went into making it as reinforced and durable as possible. Now, reliable steam power was able to be accessed in even the most remote and hard-to-reach places on the map. With 2 exhaust pipes, it was easy to see even from its design that it was made for some heavy workloads. Likely it was also necessary to move its considerable bulk around, as it was around 2 tons in weight alone. The level of convenience that this engine brought to people was unheard of and would prove to be quite revolutionary. It planted a seed and desire in people's minds to dream of equipment and machinery that could be transported as conveniently as this without any extra hassle or trouble. This engine allowed machinery to reach even the most difficult and far-flung fields, earning farmers more food on the table and money in their pockets. However, the reach of the Garrett Portable Steam Engine would go even beyond the fields and become a reliable staple across other areas like sawmills, construction, small manufacturing, and more. Its efficiency and steam-powered might was soon seen in even rural areas that still used truly ancient methods, which relied on animals and human hands to see them through. Today, we can see its impact everywhere. Even today's mobile generators, construction equipment, and more will carry traces of this antique heavy machinery. These days, no one would think twice about combining wheels and a steam engine to transform the face of an industry. And in fact, movements to modernize even the most humble and poor areas with the power of innovative heavy machinery. Number 8. Allis-Chalmers HD21 Dozer, 1955. The Allis-Chalmers HD21 Dozer was made in the early 1950s and was the first Allis-Chalmers tractor to go over 100 horsepower and was among the most beautiful of its time, with clean, smooth lines that marked it as a classic Allis-Chalmers design. It was developed directly from their model, the HD20, and was made to compete more directly with some of the most powerful dozers out there, with the help of the diesel engines that were acquired from the Buda Engine Company. The D21 would become the largest model of the D-series. However, despite how impressive this model of dozer was, people these days will not be seeing any more of these being produced as the company shut down over 50 years ago. However, there are still some of these heavy-duty bulldozers floating around and still running. The durability and endurance of this metal beast is so great that you could run it for hours without even a small drop in performance. The 18-foot-long, 10-foot-tall HD21 weighs about 41,000 pounds. Diesel engines can produce over 270 horsepower and hold 135 gallons of gasoline. This provided it unprecedented power for its weight and size, giving it unprecedented endurance. This huge machine's specs give it the strength to succeed in some of the most risky and high-risk operations in several industries. This model's undercarriage efficiently manages its transmission system for power and longevity. As a do-all dozer, this high-quality machine can handle any work. The HD21 was commonly used on construction and mining sites due to its power and mobility, which allowed it to survive in rough terrain and carry big amounts of material and mud. It was also famous for logging and cleaning fallen trees. It was typically seen in woodlands or clearings where logging was done. Its smooth handling allowed it to slide past unforeseen impediments and risky regions in sand pits and rehabilitation works. An Allis-Chalmers HD21 may be found after a natural disaster. People who needed to be confident they'd finish their work chose it for its robustness and reliability. This bulldozer is easy to use for most people. If needed, the cabin is comfortable and safe to work in all day. Although this machine is now considered a collector's or restorationist's dream, it nevertheless draws crowds when it's on display. Number 9. Euclid TC12 Dozer, 1955. This iconic bulldozer was a bright green color that brought to mind a fresh new spring, a hopeful color to represent the hopes the company had for its most dangerous gamble. This edition of Euclid's long line of dependable dozers was quite a departure from the company's other product lines, and it made waves when it was first unveiled in 1955. When it was released, it was the largest and heaviest dozer on the market, leaving behind all others in its dust. Euclid, a construction tool leader, needed a rapid cash infusion to survive. Thus, the company was sold and taken over by new management, which made it thrive like never before. This new administration wants to be bolder and reinvent itself publicly. The way to do this was to construct a massive machine so impressive that their company would come to mind when dozers were mentioned. Euclid engineers felt the huge, daring Euclid TC12 was the answer to these objectives, but it was heavy and hard to transport over long distances. The split-frame vehicle featured engines on either side and weighed about 40 tons. New owners provided twin GM6, 71 engines, each driving one track. This variant included power-shift transmissions on each engine and radiators behind the operator for dust protection. Power was outstanding, ranging from 400 to 420 horsepower depending on the year. Engineers and builders improved their assembly of this gigantic machine over time. As many businesses began developing heavy machinery, the Euclid TC12 lost its appeal to the public. The company would remain important for years due to this machine's various updates and changes. The Euclid product line produced about 901. Time replaced the TC12 with newer designs, and the business lost its Euclid brand but returned as Terex. Number 10. The Silver Spade, 1950. The Silver Spade was manufactured by the Bucyrus Erie Group in the 1950s. It was given the affectionate and glamorous name of the Silver Spade because it was meant to stand as a testament to magnificence and inspiration for all other machines after it. This was in fact a good choice in name, as it would be remembered forever after as a behemoth of the industry and set a new standard for others to reach. With its power to move millions of cubic meters of soil, the Silver Spade was often relegated to folklore, resembling a dinosaur more than other machines. Over 222 feet tall, it was taller than a 12-story skyscraper. The Silver Spade was a marvel at 60 million pounds and 8 lanes wide. Its 150 cubic yard dipper could suck up over 350,000 pounds of soil. With a dumping radius of approximately 200 feet, the machine could spin 180 degrees to take up and deposit its overburden. It operated with 14 motors. Only a 7,000-volt energy source allows this. This gigantic building was designed as Midwestern mining interests exploded. The coal industry required large mining shovels rapidly, so this gift helped. In 2007, this shovel was retired and too expensive to maintain. The Silver Spade remains one of the original super machines, delighting and inspiring audiences decades later. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. Make sure to leave a comment and let us know if you have ever used or learned about the different antique heavy machinery on our list. Which machine would you like to operate or see in person? Personally, I would want to see the first ever steam-powered tractor in all its historical splendor. If you have anything helpful or fun to add, feel free to share in the comments. Before you go, do not forget to turn on your notifications and share this with your friends to keep getting new and updated content.